Hello everyone. How are you doing today? I'm glad you could be here with me. So the cards that I have pulled for today, I'm really excited because there will be an extra card in here that's from the new Oracle deck that I just received. I'm really excited to see what it has to say and how it works with the cards that I pulled. So the first card that I pulled for the tarot is Strength. And Strength is a card that shows us that we have courage and a calm, compassionate, and patient perseverance, managing our impulses, controlling our anger, staying strong in an unshakable resolve, but still being strong and patient and resilient enough to let things unfold the way that they are going to. Incredibly powerful card. Through this strength and this patience that work hand in hand, the result of the end result will be achieved. It will be achieved. And it might not necessarily be achieved the way that it is envisioned, because I feel that it's saying it's so much more than that. I think that we have an idea of the things that we want, the result that we want in our lives, and this card tells me that there will be a result. It will be most definitely a very good result, but it might not be as we see it. It might look very different than what we expect it to look like. With the Strength on the fairy cards, I pulled the Good People. Now this card is a summer card, and it says, with this one, the Good People, it says, respect and surprise are mingled. Good fortune waits in the distance. So with the strength and the patience and the calming from anger and just stilling yourself, just putting yourself in a still place and knowing that every little step towards your goal is that close to your goal. This says this is in the distance, but it's coming. So I'm going to read what these good people in the fairy book says. So it says the good people, unexpected good news. Ooh, unexpected good news is winging in the air. You will find help where it is needed from people in high places. You will attain ambitious goals by loving the good. You may select a new path, deciding to mix with good rather than bad people, in the knowledge that you cannot have both. Sometimes we tend to do that. We try to open our hearts and our doors to the good and the bad, and the bad people, they don't do us so good. This kind of is telling me, cautioning some who open their themselves up for people who are not so much on the same page as you are to the things you're trying to attain, the place you're trying to be, the person you're trying to become, the growth that's trying to happen spiritually, mentally, physically. There are social engagements in bright company where you will shine with the light of happiness and wisdom. Now, some of you might be chuckling, saying, shine with this, huh? I hope that each and every one of you know that you have a spark in you that shines, and if you let that do what it does, people will be just adored to be around you and hear what you have to say, and that will catch the attention of maybe an incredibly important person that will help you on your journey to achieve the goals that you're after. I feel like should remind, we're always trying to remember what our goals are. When you're looking at the big picture of the goals, you can get lost and lose sight, so you set those little goals. There are these social arrangements that are going to be coming in. If you can, go mingle with people and get yourself out there and let it be known that, hey, I'm worth looking at. I'm worth taking a look at and taking the time with. I have so much to bring to the table. I have so much to offer. It also says there are opportunities in store for you that are not to be missed, because they are rare and precious treasures sent by fate. Now, I love that it says that, because there are always treasures that are being sent our way. Always we get to have these little things that come, and they seem really quiet. They're like quiet little whispers. But when they're precious ones that are just so rare that they come by, this is the time to shine. This is the time to put it out there and let people know, hey, I have something to offer. I'm just exactly what you're looking for in this field of whatever you're doing. Those steps, those first steps, those are really hard. They're very difficult. The card that I pulled with this difficult that's coming for the moon cards is adjustments may be required. Now, when we get our goals set and we have a solid plan about where we're going and how we're going to go about doing these things, there's always, without a doubt, something that's going to jump on in there and put a wrench in the cogs and say, well, you know, you probably ought to work on this first. So adjustments may be required in achieving the goal that you're after. And what this card, what this little moon says to me, I'll read it to you. This is the third quarter moon. So if we're keeping track of moon phases, this is the third quarter moon. And we can go further into that, what that means, what the different phases are. But the message is still the same, and it seems very important. Think of yourself as a vessel that has been filled more and more over the past few weeks. Some of what has come your way may have been wonderful, but there is also a lot of negativity, and you need to let go of this. Whatever situation you're asking about now, be honest about whether there are toxic emotions involved, which you need to release into the others. This card also comes with a promise that all is not lost. However, there are changes or adjustments required before you will get to where you want to be. A change, of course, is forecast now that recent events have been understood and acted upon. There may also be a crisis. And in my book it has crisis as in these, quotes. I'll do the air quotes. There is a crisis. Now, which will remind you what you want and what it's time to let go of. Pay attention. I believe I've said before, holding on to the past, it is good to hold on to the past simply for the lessons that you've learned and where you have been, what you've experienced, and then you let it go. It's the past, it's over, there's no changing it. There is simply taking what you can from it to learn and grow from, and the rest of it, recycle it back into the universe and let the universe handle it and disperse it. Recycle it back to something good. Send a good energy out to, the ones that have been there for you, and send a little something to the ones who haven't been there for you, because those that haven't been there for you, they need that little bit of energy to help them realize that they too can grow and encourage. So be wary of that. It says, attuned to the moon, I am re-evaluating the situation. Your life may be out of balance, and this may be causing your issues. You may need time to hatch a whole new plan. Ooh, I know. If you're one of those who have planned, rehashed, redid, another plan, and oh, this one has got to be the plan that's going to work, and it doesn't work. This card here is saying you still might have to go back to square one and retest those and check that foundation is strong. There might be a weak spot that you didn't know was there, and you need to readjust, look, not completely start over, just adjust it, just work around what you have to work with. This also says something new and exciting is around the corner. Boy, could we all use a little bit of excitement, and it to be good excitement. We've had a lot of excitement. It hasn't been good at all. It's been less than stellar. And something good is right around the corner. Just adjust where things need to be adjusted. Don't get too stuck in how you think it needs to happen. Just focus on that it needs to happen, just not how. Sometimes we get lost on the how and the when and the where, when really it's as simple as just saying, well, it's gonna happen, it needs to happen, and maybe we're gonna approach it a new way. I know that there are many people who struggle with what struggle with other people who are on the same page and not on the same page. They kind of create obstacles that don't need to be there. But I think those obstacles are being created out of insecurity with the other person. And as with any big step, if you have other people involved, everybody that has an emotion and a feeling and an idea about it, a thought, an opinion, something to gain, something to lose, that changes the dynamic of how a goal manifests itself. When it comes to, like, you feel like you're just slamming into a brick wall every time you turn, that's just the universe saying, hey, try a different approach, because this person's not receptive to this, and if you try it another way, it'll make more sense to them and they'll be more open and willing to do that. If you're just making a decision on your own, that makes it a lot easier. We'll have to admit that does make it easier because it's you, and then you just have to wrestle with your own inner self if you didn't check and do the adjustments and work with all the checks and balances headed towards your goal. The card also says trust may be required to move this situation forward. Now that really says a lot to me. Trust is a really funny thing. I have my personal belief of what trust is and what that means and what it looks like. That is not to say that everybody has that same viewpoint of what that is. Big decisions that have other people involved, be it a boss, a friend, a co-worker, a significant other, a roommate, whenever there is another person involved that has anything to do with offering you the ability to attain the goal that you're looking for, yeah, there's going to have to be a lot of trust. They're going to have to be able to trust you to know that they're not going to get hurt, and you need to know to trust them that you're not going to be hurt. And we seem to live in a time now where there seems to be a lot of I need to protect myself. I've been hurt, and I've experienced X amount of times that this has just repeated itself, and I don't want to relive the same thing. I've been there, I've done that. So a certain degree of trust needs to be there. And that's just a matter of communicating correctly with the people around you that you need. If you're looking to find a way to move in position in work, you need to know how to speak with those people and develop that trust that they know that you're that person. I'm the one that you can depend on. You know, I've got some really good ideas. I have things to bring to the table, and then develop that trust, and then people are more willing to take things seriously, as are ourselves, because let's face it, if we've experienced some things, which we all have, there's a little bit of us that's just like, I don't know, I don't know if I can trust, but it's important. Trust might need to be built for some endeavors that people are taking on. And some people may have already have gone through that and have learned that it's a just mutual respect. They respect you, you respect them. And this applies to, I feel, every aspect of your life. I mean, my life, your life, anyone's life, that trust is important, mutual respect is important, and toxic is bad. And this is saying just readjust. At the time of the third quarter moon, we know where we have been, but where we are going, the moon is now a half moon and slipping away from us. She catches less and less light, moving towards her full disappearance at the new moon. It's a time of falling away and a time of reevaluation. No matter when you draw this card, the teaching is to release and trust. I like that. I really do like that. Release and trust. Sometimes the very best outcomes are the ones where we set intent and we work towards it, but then we sort of just back up and let it simmer, let it cook, let it grow, let it do its thing. Sit back and be calm. The other two cards seem to say that calming seems to be a thing that needs to happen. I feel a lot of us are incredible in incredible situations where we need answers quick. And it isn't the instant gratification type of thing. It's the we have been so uncertain for so long, or it really wasn't that long, but it felt like a lifetime. I will never forget that January of 2020 went on for like 1,000,001 days, and 2020 just was what it was. It a long road, and decisions were made, and we had to readjust. The goals that were set are good and they're just, but things have to be approached just a little different. Just readjust a little bit. And then the new deck I got to go with this is the Sacred Earth Oracle. And the card that I pulled from this deck, this card is called Formation. Now I love the word formation, and I just really love the art on this. I'm really happy. A very dear friend of mine, I don't know if I can mention her name or not, but shout out to you. You know who you are. These are amazing. Let me tell you what this card is saying and see how this card works with the previous 3 cards I've pulled. I'll put this card back up here and hopefully you'll be able to see it. So this card tells me formation. The earthly meaning: let emotions settle before you scramble into action. Observe and reserve judgment until all is revealed. Allow a situation to unfold in its own time and space. With minimal interference, it's going to get better. Play with your sense of yourself. Challenge it. Add to it. Pull it apart. Bounce it off other people and take on a new form. So that's the earthly meaning. The earthly meaning. The spiritual meaning behind this card, formation, is the process of self-discovery deepens and strengthens your spiritual connection to life, earth, and the universe. Expansion means deepening emotions, questioning your reality, and scrutinizing. Ooh, that was a hard word. It's a good thing I'm not an English teacher, because those poor kids would have learned a word that didn't exist. I would have made one up. Scrutinizing the meaning of life. Gradually will come to your own truths, and gradually you will let them go as you embrace even more profound realizations. Every precision, miraculous moment of your life has the capacity to transform you. The insight of this card is upon a time around 4 billion years ago, a solar nebula collapsed and spun into itself. Our sun formed, and its center and what remained of the nebula orbited around it. Over tens of thousands of years, these particles began to stick together. Small clumps became larger clumps, which fused into mile-wide objects that collided, smashed apart, and came back together. The push and pull of gravity worked its magic, merging heavier objects with smaller ones, until Earth and the other planets of our solar system were formed. In the beginning, powerful transformations can look like chaos. That's the truth. They can look like chaos. If an aspect of your world seems to implode and crash in on itself, or you feel like things are spinning out of control, remember, this is a process, not a destination. Once the dust settles, the whole new world will be available to you. I am so excited about this deck, and this card really seemed to cover these others. Changing and growing and doing it, it can seem so chaotic and messy and difficult and like a 2-year-old toddler was allowed to run around in the kitchen and just do whatever they wanted. That is how it can be, so chaotic. But when those pieces are doing that, they are being placed in the proper perspective, the proper zone in your life. That's not supposed to be there is working its way out. I feel that a lot of us get stuck on it needs to happen now. If it doesn't happen now, I'm running out of time. Time is fluid. You're never going to run out of time. Yeah, sure, we talk about that we are going to leave this body and we're going to go into our spirit selves and do another journey along the way. But through all the chaos, beautiful, magnificent things came. Our whole universe came out of chaos. And look at it. All you have to do is look out and take a look at a tree. Look at the rocks. Look at all the beautiful things around. This was all a chaotic mess that imploded on itself. And I'm pretty sure if it was a living being, it was probably like, I don't understand why my life is falling apart. And that's how that feels. But when it is falling apart, it very well could be falling directly into place. Don't fight it. When it feels chaotic, step back, reevaluate, look at yourself, soul search, find it. the need for immediate answers is important because, even though time is fluid and it lasts forever, it doesn't mean that you have forever to get your goals done. It just means that the time that it's not moving in a forward direction is the time that you need to take to step back and look at what you're bringing to the table for yourself. Is what you're bringing to the table actually hindering and making an obstacle, or is it something that is helping it work together, and that chaos is coming together, and this little piece of this part is actually fitting over here with this other part. The journey's always going to be the journey. I think that a lot of us know that. The journey will always be the journey. And sometimes it's a nice little road and it's like everything is coming up roses or daffodils or strawberries and amazing, wonderful things. And other times it looks like you ran into a gravel pit of stinky garbage, and it's like, what on earth? A compost pile of chaos, and it's like, what am I doing here? You're there because you have to do some inner reflection as you achieve goals. Sometimes goals come real quick, and those are exciting. But the goals that take work and you have to work around other things, you're going to always be set down with yourself so that you can look at how you're going to approach things and how maybe this way is not working anymore. And I'm going to try something different. And in doing that, you've moved that progress that you've been looking for a little bit closer. Enjoy the now. Enjoy the steps that you've made now. Get rid of what doesn't work. Anything that weighs heavy on you, let it be exactly what it's meant to be. It's a lesson. It's going to be it's a chink in your armor. It's a part that's like, okay, I learned something from this. You don't need to hold on to it. But it did help get you where you are now. Is it going to serve later? No, maybe not. Or yes, maybe. And so when the chaos is happening, that's self-reflection time. And I encourage that self-reflection be really good. That you do that you take the time to just self-reflect. And